moment. There's Pearl. Say Pearl, hello. And there's Maze. Hey, pup. All right, off. There you go. There's Maze. We're gonna see if we can do a podcast. Maybe. We might be able to. That'd be fun if we could. So let's try. I'm sitting back. I don't know if this is gonna work, but hello. Welcome to the Flame and Fiber podcast. My name is Barbara. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Diva S. And I want to say hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the new viewers and to the new subscribers. Thank you so much. And welcome back to everybody who's been here before. I really appreciate you coming and joining me in my little corner of the internet knitting world. I'm sitting here. I left my glasses upstairs when I ran up to kind of wet my hair so it could look pretty good because I got up early today. So I had to grab these glasses. These glasses, I don't know if you can see. Anyway, they're all scratched. It'll do. They'll do. These aren't my regular glasses. You don't care. My morning routine these days is I'm getting up early. And I don't mind getting up early. When I first retired, I was getting up early and going to bed a little early. And Dennis stays up late and he gets up late. And so you have a little time in your house by yourself, which is nice. But I've lately been getting up later and later. But now we have a new puppy that can only be in the crate for so long. So Dennis takes her up when he goes to bed late, and I get up early with her. And I do like getting up early if I've gone to bed early, so that I've got a little bit of sleep. Anyway, you don't care about that. That might be gone. So that was Maze and Pearl. They're doing really well. We've had Maze now for 3 weeks. And she goes to the doctor today, to the vet, to get the last of her booster shots, and we'll find out how much she weighs. I'm guessing she weighs around 28 pounds, which would mean that she has gained 10 pounds in 3 weeks, which I think is probably true. But she's turned out to be a lovely, sweet, amazing puppy, and Pearl has turned out to be the best big sister, and it has really been a joy to have these two dogs together. And I'm surprised how calm I am about this new puppy, because Pearl was not a calm event when she came. So I think it's partly because we have two dogs now and Pearl is keeping her entertained, and partly because of the personality and the breeds. Pearl is a German Shepherd and Maze is a half poodle, half Newfoundland. And Newfies are known to be quiet, sweet-mannered, lovely dogs, and poodles are very smart and very good companions. So we're pretty happy with her, I gotta say. If I keep looking over there, it's because, puppy. Our house is pretty puppy proof. Our backyard's puppy proof. So we'll see how we do, right, girls? So anyway, I have been knitting. It's been 2 weeks since I saw you last. This is my Jenny the Potter mug, her birch mug. Isn't that pretty? All my other mugs are in the dishwasher. I don't use this one too often. I prefer a mug that has more room for more fingers. I love the way it looks. I paid a lot of money for it. So Dennis really likes this one. When he makes himself a mochaccino, he uses this. He is a tea drinker by inclination, but a few years ago he discovered that he could make a mochaccino that he likes, and every once in a while he'll make himself a mochaccino, and he likes to use this mug. So it's a beautiful mug. Where to start? Well, it's Friday. I think it's June 13th, and it's a quiet around our house at the moment. Our granddaughters are up from Florida. My son and daughter-in-law and 2 granddaughters are visiting the area, everybody in their families all live up here, and they moved to Florida, which was pretty rotten, I think. But, you know, they get to decide where they live, I guess, apparently. They think they should anyway. But they're up visiting, so they drove up, and Dennis and I are the last on the list. They were in Jersey, where Jason's dad is, and Allison's family were all in New Jersey. And now they're here visiting us. But yesterday afternoon, they went up to visit my parents. And so they will be back this afternoon. So I have this little tiny window of quiet in the house that I thought I would do a podcast. The plan is tomorrow, Jason and Allison are driving back to Florida, and the granddaughters are staying for 2 weeks up here with the various grandparents. And we get them first. So I will have granddaughters here till Wednesday. So I won't be doing very much knitting, and I won't have time to podcast after this morning, so I thought I'd take this opportunity. I don't know how that's going to work out. Sammy will be 3 in August, and I don't know. I'm not sure she slept overnight without Mommy and Daddy. Well, that's not true. She slept here, but that was over a year ago when she was 2. And now she's almost 3, so it will be fine. It will be fine. It will be fine. But I think Dennis and I are going to get the brunt of the sadness, because Mommy and Daddy are going to drive away tomorrow morning. We're planning on going to the movies. That's what our plan is. We thought we'd go to the movies in the afternoon. The Secret Life of Dogs Part 2 is playing, and so we'll go to the movies and then maybe go out to dinner or something, so that, you know, they have a little something to look forward to, even if Mommy and Daddy aren't here. And of course we have the dogs, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But I do have a quiet moment now, so I thought I would take advantage of it. And if I podcast in 2 weeks, who knows if I'm going to have any knitting at all. But I do have knitting. Now I have finished my exploration station. Yay! Yay! I am so tickled with my shawl. Oh my goodness. This, I started this in the beginning of the year in January. I bought the yarn for this shawl 3 years ago. Oh, you can see, you can see my fringe. I have started weaving in the ends. I have not finished weaving in the ends. I will be weaving in all the ends because, you know. But, oh my gosh, I am so tickled with how this turned out. I cannot tell you. The yarn is Spirit Trails Fiber Company. I bought the yarn at Maryland Sheep and Wool 3 years ago, I think. And the colors were inspired by colors of the frescoes that I saw in Barcelona. And that was in April, and then I was in Maryland Sheep and Wool in May that year and bought the yarn. So I've had the yarn for a long time. I started casting this on. I cast this on in January as part of the New to You Mal make-along that was being sponsored by quite a few podcasters, Chevy Rell and Crafty Toads and Cocktails at the Coop were the ones who kind of organized it originally. And this brioche part, this was my first foray into brioche, and that's why it qualified as New to You for the New to You Mal. So I was able to enter it because you didn't have to have a finished object. So I had finished the brioche part. But I could not be happier. The yarn is yummy. The yarn is merino cashmere silk. I think the base is called Suna. And the colors are Ruby Slipper. The red is Ruby Slipper. The gray is called Vortex. Let me see. I did not put these in these notes, but I have them from last time. The gold is Scrimshaw and the blue is Hannah Lee. And I am tickled with it, and I will be wearing this a lot. And, you know, as I was going along, I wasn't sure, do the colors really go together or whatever, but they looked gorgeous in the frescoes, and I am really, really happy with how it turned out. I couldn't be happier. So I have a few more ends to weave in. Lots of ends in this. But I am really tickled. So, I finished my exploration station. And it had been on my list of things that I wanted to make for quite a while. So, I'm really happy to have that done. I blocked it. I didn't pin it. I just laid it out. I have ooh, the sun is coming out, baby. I have a guest bed, double bed that, oh, excuse me while well, I guess I'll just sit back. Maybe I need to, there's our shed. That's my studio. I think that may be better. Where I have my lamp working studio is there. And, sorry about that. I mean, I'm not sorry the sun's out. Oh my gosh. It poured. And we have a dog door, and we now have 2 dogs that run and play. And I have so much mud in my house. Oh my goodness. I cannot tell you. It's dried up now, so I have to vacuum this morning before the kids come again, but we were out here like putting chairs down over mud puddles, and so that because we don't know, we can't tell when Maze needs to go, so we can't close the dog door because otherwise we end up, she goes in the house, and we don't want her to, you know, get used to doing that, because that's not how you potty train a dog. Which means that she gets to go out whenever she wants, and so she can go out and play whenever she wants, and I'm not very good about catching them as they're coming in. Pearl is a muddy mess as well. Anyway, I'm very happy the sun is out, and if it gets really windy, I won't complain, because it'll dry faster, right, pup? It'll dry faster. This little puppy is so adorable. She's turned out to be so lovely. My second finished object is my Odyssey shawl by Joji Locatelli. I had, you know, this is the pattern that Joji gave to the knitting community. It's a free pattern that she did a couple months ago. And I was just looking for something interesting that was going to be straightforward to knit. And so I picked this up. I knit this out of Indicita DK alpaca yarn. I bought this yarn. I feel like I got a halo going on here. All right. I'm going to change and see if I can, you know, I'll have the sun in my eyes, but hopefully it won't be too bad. I want to be outside because it's nice out. Hold on. Okay, we'll see if this is better. I'm not sure. So this is, I was just sitting right there. Now this is my house and my side yard, kind of the side of my backyard. So we'll see how that goes. What we're looking at over there is the new property that Dennis and I just bought, our neighbor's house, the property where we're going to build our retirement house. If we can figure out what that looks like. It's not that easy to decide from scratch what you want. But we did make settlement on that property, and so now we're like landowners. I don't know if this is gonna work. I forgot to wipe off the chair, so my butt's wet now. Anyway, so my second finished object is my Odyssey shawl. This is the free pattern by Joji Locatelli, and I was doing stuff. I just wanted something mindless, not mindless, but something easy that I didn't have to think too hard about. So I started this, and this I started, I think, in March or April, probably April. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Now, this is the Indicita DK alpaca yarn that I have had. I bought a ton of this yarn as a souvenir while I was on vacation when we went to Lima, Peru. When I came back and put the yarn in Ravelry in my stash, everybody who has this yarn in their stash got it in the same place at the Indian market in Lima, Peru. Either they bought it or a friend bought it for them or whatever. But so I have all different colors. I probably have 6 different colors. I had made another shawl out of this, one of Helen Stewart's Shawl Society shawls, maybe from the first year or the second, I'm not sure. And I gave it to my mother, who doesn't really use it. I should take it back, but I'm not going to. So I made myself another one. So it's drapey and soft and lovely, and it's a beautiful pattern. And I highly recommend it, and it's free. And these you know, holes are fun. Give you a little something going on. Now, I suspect that these little picots are supposed to be kind of lined up exactly with these elements. Mine aren't. I didn't even think about that until after I was doing it. I'm like, gee, too bad that picot doesn't line up right under that. Oh, it probably was supposed to. Sorry, Hohi. But that will not stop me from enjoying and using this shawl. It's lovely and soft. So I have the ends to weave in, but there are not nearly as many ends on this as there are in my exploration station, let me tell you. But I will also weave in the ends to this. Okay, pup. All right. Pearl is on the alert. I'm not sure. Oh, alpaca in my mouth, of course. I'm not sure what it is with her this morning, but we are well protected. She is letting us know. This is one of my little sheep. My little rejects, because the eyeballs, there's no iris or pupil. There's no pupils in their eyes. It looks a little whack. So I kept it myself. Oh, hello. Sorry. Okay, so 2 finished shawls. Some ends to weave in, and I probably can do that with the granddaughters, so that'll be fun. Now, works in progress. Well, I showed you my Novelli tee last podcast, and I went into quite some detail about how I changed the color of the yarn. Ooh, sorry about that. Oh my gosh. Changed the color of the yarn while I was trying to set the colors. This is the Novelli tee. It's by Caitlin Hunter. This is my first color work sweater. It's the second time I've ever done color work. And I think it's coming out really beautifully, but I can't do this while I'm talking. I can't do it while Dennis is up trying to talk to me. This is where I was in the last podcast. I've only done an inch. I love how it's looking. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to love wearing it. I really, really want to love doing color work because there are a lot of beautiful color work sweaters that I would love to make. I don't know where Maze is. But I'm apparently not enjoying this enough to actually want to do it. So I haven't done anything on this for the last couple days. When I was doing it, I was doing 1 or 2 rows, and then I would be like done. And I'm doing it like now. I would do it now instead of, but now I'm podcasting because it's quiet Dennis is in bed, you know, just sit on the deck. Almost all of this was done while I was sitting on the deck, relaxing, quiet, just woke up, having my coffee. I really think it's beautiful. But I somehow, when I work on it, I only work on it for a couple of rows, and I haven't been working on it. So I guess I'm not in love with color work at this moment. I think if I could feel comfortable just sitting and doing it while I was watching podcasts or something. So this is one of my colors. The yarn is naturally dyed yarn. I went into quite some detail about how I ended up with this color. That I got from my favorite booth at Maryland Sheep and Wool. They don't have an online store. And this is the color I'm going to make the body of the sweater out of. So this is what it's going to be like. I think it's going to be really pretty. I want the sweater. I wish I was enjoying knitting it more so that I would be knitting it more. I'm not quite halfway finished with the color work part. Once the color work is over, the rest of it's going to go really quick because it's just stockinette. I did find my clover tool. So when I'm knitting, I'm going to have to redo this, obviously, because it got messy in my bin, but it has the top on it, so that keeps the yarn straight. So it's not. You get the idea. And then, because I'm a continental knitter, and so I have both colors on my left hand when I'm knitting. Anyway, I wanna love making color work, and I want color work sweaters. So I need to just keep plugging at it. I think if I just, you know, once I feel more comfortable. But I think it's coming out beautifully. I really do. I mean, my floats look okay. Some of them may be a little loose. I've been a little worried about it being too tight, I will admit. But, anyway. So this is my Novelli tee. Very slowly it's coming. I've only done an inch in the last 2 weeks. My sister and I are going to go on a trip together, I think. She's, her husband died a few years ago, and so she has nobody to travel with. Sorry, earthquake. At home. So she and I might be going on a trip later this summer in August. And if we do that, I would love to have that Novelli tee to wear. So that's kind of my time frame. That's my goal, is to have this. If I go on the trip with my sister, then I will have it, and that would be fun. So it's not a lot of pressure. And as I said, as soon as I finish this much more color work, then it's going to go like crazy, and it won't be any trouble at all, because the rest is just straight stockinette, but of course, hello again. Since I'm only working on that a little bit, and I finished my shawls, I started another sweater. This was an Instagram grabbed me, I think. I saw this, somebody posted it on Instagram. I got the Cityscape Tank by Lisa K. Ross. Somebody posted this because she had just released this. That's what it looks like flowing. She had just released this, and it was on sale that day for cheap. So I got it. And then, you know, I thought, oh, you know, no sleeves. That'll be fun. I should have put this one in color, too. It uses a DK weight yarn, sport or DK. I went rummaging around in my cupboard, and I came across this yarn, which you may never have seen in my stash. It wasn't listed in my stash. It's Cascade Yarns Sunseeker. Now this is a yarn I made my daughter-in-law Allison a sweater out of this yarn, and I overbought crazily. This is, I don't know if you can see that blue sparkle. It's got a blue sparkle. It's acrylic and cotton. 47% cotton, 48% acrylic, and 5% metallic yarn, it's called. So the metallic is kind of an aqua blue color in there, and you might be getting a little bit of a sparkle. So it's half cotton and half acrylic. Completely washable. And I had made Allison a sweater years ago, I think before I started the podcast. She had asked for a sweater, a sparkly sweater. And at the time, the only sparkly yarns were like from Michaels that I could find. Now, I suppose, I don't know why I didn't look for, you know, like sock yarns with Stellina. Puppies are wrestling. I don't know if I can show you them. Maze gets on top. When she's on the top step, she's the big girl. Anyway, I might have to take that out too. You may not have been seeing anything for all I know. Anyway. I made a sweater out of this. I know she wore it at least once. She sent me a picture of her wearing it to work. She's not wearing it in Florida. It was a long sleeve wintry sweater, but I should tell her to give me back that sweater. I'll take it apart and I'll make her a tank out of it, because it's turning out to be a nice tank. And it, you know, it's 50% cotton, so it's going to be somewhat comfortable. Hey, you're wiggling the camera, you guys. Knock it off. If there's a lot of edits here, it's because I tried to show you the dogs and it didn't work out. So anyway, I started this. It's knit from the bottom up, and I'm enjoying knitting it. It's pretty mindless. It's twisted, 1x1 twisted rib to start, and it's twisted rib up the sides. I think you can see. This is twisted rib up the sides. It goes straight up, and then as you make your bust increases or whatever, it changes. It's a little bit of a sculptural look. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that detail is twisted, 1x1 twisted rib. So I do this for, you know, I don't know how many inches, and then, so this is one of my souvenirs from Russia. I did not get a lot of souvenirs, but I did get this little, it's really a necklace, but I just put it on a bulb pin. So it's my beginning of the row. I don't know, can you see that? I'm not sure, but it's a tiny little Fabergé egg. So I'm enjoying this. I don't have to think about it. I can sit there and watch TV. I can do whatever I want while I'm doing this without worrying. Like I said, I'm a continental knitter, so doing, you know, 1x1 rib is no big deal to me. And the twisted rib, I'm liking the way it looks. I don't normally do a lot of twisted rib. The other thing is the needles that I'm using are my Addi Clicks, which I'm not generally a big fan of. They are very, very rounded, not pointy at all, but it's working out really well. They were the only ones I could find in the size to start the ribbing at the bottom, which I think was a 4. And so I thought, oh, I'll do the 4s and then I'll find some 6s, that because the rest of it is in like a 6, I'm pretty sure. And I could look, because crazy, I am using the needle sizes suggested on the pattern. Yeah, 4 and 6. But I was not having any trouble doing the twisted rib, and it was working fine, so I just kept on with the Addi Clicks. So that's fun. Having a project I'm enjoying knitting with those needles. That's a good thing, since I own them. So anyway, this is my Cityscape tank. The thing about this tank is, number one, oh, the pattern's lovely, nothing with the tank, you know. I don't usually wear tanks just by themselves with my arms hanging out, you know. That's left over from, I don't know, my mother never did, you know, she never liked her arms. And, you know, it's that thing, although, you know, at my age, my daughter was depressing. Last night I talked to her. She's like, the relentless march of time. I'm like, oh my God. She's going to be 40 on her birthday. I'm like, you have a lot of nerve. She's my baby. But I realized that making this tank, number one, it's a tank, so I would normally wear something over it. But I mean, I picked that yarn because I thought, oh, I have enough yarn. Crazy, I have enough yarn to make a second sweater because I overbought that yarn. And you know, it's a kind of a summer feel with the cotton. But I have nothing in my wardrobe that will go, oh, my dogs are bumping my chair. Are that, you know, to use like as an over blouse or to go with that tank. And I realized that it's very rare in my knitting career that I think about my wardrobe and where will this garment that I'm making, or this shawl or whatever, where will this fit in my wardrobe? What will I wear with it? You know, I do that when I'm shopping for clothes. You know, what will this shirt, you know, what pants will this shirt go with? What will, you know, do I have anything that, you know, I do that every time I go shopping for clothes. I do not do that when I'm trying to figure out what I want to knit. Do I like the yarn? Do I like the pattern? Great, I'm making it. And so that's why that Twinsy shawl that I finished last time, I specifically tried to find a yarn because I have a sweater and I have no shawl. And I have lots of shawls. I have no shawl that I think goes well with that sweater. And which is crazy because I've knit 20 shawls, you would think, and it's a blue, kind of a blue, but I don't think about how things are going to go in my wardrobe when I'm knitting. Isn't that funny? It's so weird to me. I mean, I have things that go, but it's only by chance. You know, it's because I you know, have a thing for yellow, so I have 2 yellow summer sweaters, and I have the best friend's shawl that I made that also has yellow. So I have things that go together, but it's only by accident. So I need to start being a little more mindful when I'm, well, and besides the fact that I wanted to use the girls, I wanted to, I keep wanting to say llama. It's not llama. Alpaca. I wanted to knit with this alpaca that I've had in my stash forever. But also, all the colors of that alpaca are pretty neutral. I was looking for the colors that might be natural colors. I'm sure they're all dyed. They're not natural colors. But I was looking for sort of natural alpaca colors when I was picking this yarn. And when I made, but my second thought as I was picking these colors was, oh, and it'll be so nice to have a gray shawl or a neutral shawl, because most of my shawls are not very neutral. So maybe I'm getting better. Maybe I'm getting better, but that's that's one thing. Be nice. That's one thing that I need to start doing, is being more mindful when I'm picking my yarn or planning my garment, that how it fits in my wardrobe as a whole. I mean, it's easy. What happened, puppy? Pearl's like limping all of a sudden. Huh. Now she's fine. And I completely lost my train of thought. And now she's running. She's fine. Talking about things fitting. Oh, my pants. I mean, all my pants are navy blue and black and gray. I mean, it's not like it's that hard to coordinate with my wardrobe, because it's not, in terms of tops and things. So, but in terms of accessories, that's where I'm not. I guess that's what I have to do when I do my shawls. I'll have to think, what am I going to wear this with? Or when I make a sweater, like, I need to find a good yarn to make a shawl to go with this, because I do like to wear a shawl over my sweater if it's a, you know, because my neck gets cold. Anyway, ramble. Oh my god. So that's the story of my Cityscape tank. I have no idea what I'm gonna wear with that, because I don't know that I'm going to be just wearing it without anything very often, because, you know, no sleeves. Although, if I have enough yarn, I could put a little sleeve on that, and maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up on some of the knitting that I have done in past episodes, partly because it's been chilly here. I'm wearing a fleece, and I'll tell you why I'm wearing a fleece and not a sweater in a minute. But I'm wearing a fleece. It's chilly, and the kids came up from Florida, and they just brought summer clothes. They live in Florida. They were coming in June. It gets hot here normally, but it's been really chilly. And they were going off to my parents yesterday, and the high today in State College, where my parents live, is supposed to be like 62. So I gave Allison a sweatshirt, and I have a little bag of clothes that back when I was doing childcare with Isabel, I would go to the Goodwill and pick up a few things, children's clothes, so that I had clothes when she was here, including a little sweater. And so, and you know, like a little long sleeve shirt. So I was able to put sleeves on the girls last night, no problem. And then or the night before, and when they were leaving yesterday, I said, well, you know, I made Isabel a sweater. I don't know if you remember that sweater I made. It was the Doverfell, and I wrote this down because I forgot. The Doverfell sweater. Oh, I forgot to write. I'll put down who the designer is right there. I can't believe I didn't write that down. A little hoodie. It is so adorable, and Isabel loved it. I hadn't given it to him yet, number one, there in Florida. Number two, by the time I finished it, I think it was, you know, I guess I don't remember. Maybe in the fall. But I didn't finish Sammy's, and the zipper was too long, and I was like, oh, you know, and they're in Florida, they don't need a sweater. I don't know what that was all about. She loved the sweater. And this is her with the sweater. Yesterday morning, she was on her way to see Mima and Peepaw, and she loved her sweater. So I have to finish Sammy's sweater. I started Sammy's sweater. I cut I didn't face the zipper. I have some ribbon to put on, you know, on the zipper so it'll look cute. And I can do that. I think I can do that while they're here, I hope. So that when I send her home with that sweater, it'll be finished. But she loved it. It fits her. It barely fits her. I mean, it'll fit her this winter, and that'll be it, I think. But I need to finish Sammy's. And I love this. This is the sweater I want to make. I want to make one for myself at some point. But I finished Isabel's and started Sammy's and got discouraged and I stopped. So I need to dig around in my room and find Sammy's and start and finish that one. And I think I've only gotten this far on Sammy's, so I've got a lot to do. But anyway, so I wanted to say she loved the sweater, and I was really tickled that I had that for her. And then I had a Goodwill sweater in the bag that Sammy could wear. So they are both warm at Mima and Peepaw's now, since it's so chilly here. The other knitting that I wanted to follow up on is my night shift shawl. This is the one I finished not that long ago by Andrea Mowry. It was a birthday gift. The pattern was a birthday gift from the Mean Girls, and I knit it out of my hand spun, and I love the way it looks. I'm so excited about that. But I'm not sure about the size or the shape of this shawl. I mean, it looks big when I hold it, but you know, this is a very thick shawl. But when I want to wear it and stay warm, it doesn't feel it. There's like, I don't know, there's not enough around my arms. I'm not sure. I feel like I want to just pick up an edge and add more to it or something like that. And maybe I will. Although, you know, it just feels like it's an awkward shape. I'm never going to wear it bandana style. I know that. And I had it on my chair, and it just felt like it wasn't quite, you know, doesn't quite come far enough down my arms. I don't know. So I think, I don't know if I can do anything that won't like wreck it, but I am considering some kind of addition to this because I love how it looks. I love the fact that it's my hand spun. But I don't know, it just feels like the shape of it or the size of it isn't exactly right. Now, I don't know whether I can do anything about that or not. It's got I-cord all around it. I mean, you make the I-cord when you're knitting it, and then you bind off with the I-cord too. So, but I could add, you know, I could pick up stitches on an I-cord and like go another direction. I could Steven West this baby. You know? I don't know. Anyway, I was thinking about it and realized that, hello again, that there's something about the shape and size that feels like it's just not quite right for me, for what I'm looking for. Because it's a thicker yarn, it's never going to be a good bandana style. And it just feels, there's a lot on the back, so if you're trying to cover your back, it's perfect. But I also want my arms covered, and that's not quite enough. So, I don't know. I don't know if I can add to that or not. Maybe I'll actually, you know, spin some more yarn and have more hand spun. And then see what I can do with it. I'm not sure. So anyway, that's a little bit of a follow-up on that. Shawl. I think it's beautiful. I'm really happy with how it looks. And if it's not too chilly, it works. But when I'm like sitting in my chair really feeling chilly, I want my arms covered too. And that, it's not a convenient shape for that, I think. Just, I guess that's my point. I'm wearing my fleece today. Well, the reason I'm wearing my fleece is I have a puppy. And I'll show you this. I'm gonna edit this face thing out because I gotta go over here and wiggle you and everything. I went to visit my parents a couple weeks ago, and I brought my Karina sweater, which I wear a lot or often. I'm really happy with it. This is an Isabel Kramer pattern, And the yarn is Franco Fee yarn, although she has changed her brand to Cardinal yarn, I think, Devon. But I was wearing this, I came home, Maze was so excited to see me. And I don't know if that was a nail or a tooth. I'm like, no! So, I have to, it didn't break the yarn. So I'm gonna have to go through very carefully and reset the, oops, my nose itches. Reset the tension on that row. I mean, it's very close to the end of the sleeve. I could unpick the sleeve and just re-knit it from there, but Simona says that she thinks I can just retension that row, you know, with a needle and just be carefully go through and do something with that, but so I'm not wearing my knitwear at this point. Well, it is summertime, although I'm wearing a, you know, it's chilly out here. So I have some work to do on that, but I'm sure it can be saved. If I can't make it look better, and you know, even if it's not perfect, I can pull that on the inside and it'll be fine. That's why I'm not wearing my knitwear. Because I have a puppy. I have a puppy. And I have some goodies. One goodie. Only one goodie. My pom-pom came. And you guys have seen pom-pom. You've seen the pom-pom magazine. Everybody's shown it to you because it came a couple weeks ago. Isn't this a cute sweater? I think this is mosaic. I have to look. But right along here, and on the sleeves, and on the neck, Latvian braid. Now I did Latvian braid on my colorwork hat that I did, my only other colorwork project. I don't know, there was nothing about doing that on a hat that made me think, oh, let me do that on a sweater. I might try it because otherwise I think that's a really cute sweater. There are actually quite a few really cute sweaters in here. A couple of them are, you know, tank tops, which I'm making a tank top now, so I probably won't be making them. I mean, this is cute, and I could make that without the tie. I don't think the tie would suit me, but I like the way it's going, and that would be cute under a over blouse or a, you know, bolero sweater or something like that. So there are quite a few. There are several sweaters in here that I like, and I will show them to you, but I do have a complaint about this magazine. There are several of these sweaters that I like the sweater, but I don't like the photography of the sweater. I mean, this is a beautiful picture, but I don't think that it's very flattering. Doesn't make this flattering to the sweater on her. She's lovely, but the sweater looks, I don't know, a little frumpy, I think, on her. It feels to me like the sweater is too big for her. Like it doesn't fit her very well. It's like too big. There's like too much fabric here. I think, you know, it's like, I just feel like it's the wrong size. Then they should have knit one size down and she would look great. It's a very interesting pattern. I might make it, and I just won't make it too big. Try not to make it too big, because if it looks frumpy on her, it's going to look terrible on me, right? So I feel like that sweater is a little bit too big for her. Now, the other sweater that I really like is called Earthen, and this is a really interesting pattern on it, a nice detail. But my problem is with these pictures too. There's no picture of her standing, like a full body picture, so you can see what this sweater looks like on her while she's standing up. And I think it's because this sweater doesn't fit her. This is just too big. And they didn't, you know, and I mean, she's standing up here, obviously, so you can see the detail in the back of the sweater, but you don't have any idea how long this sweater is on her. And it just, I mean, this just feels like the sweater isn't the right size for the model. And those are the pictures. That's it. for this sweater. So you don't have any idea if it's a, I mean, this with all that fabric back there makes it look like it's a tunic length. I don't know, you know, and yeah, people like long sleeves and they're cozy, but it just feels like the sweater didn't fit the model. They needed a smaller size for this model. So I really like some of these sweaters. This is a really cute tank top too. Very cute. Turns out this tank top is reversible, and when you look at the pattern on this, it says that in the picture she's wearing it with the back of the tank top in the front. And so when you're knitting this, keep that in mind, that this is the front in the pattern. But they don't show any picture of her wearing it front side front, which I find strange. But, you know, they have other sweaters where they show you the whole sweater. This one obviously fits her very well. They've knit the right size for her, and it's cute. I'm not sure about these wingy things, you know. So it's like a giant rectangle that's kind of sewn. So that doesn't do anything for me, but you know, she looks cute there, and it fits her. So I like this bag. It's crocheted. I might have to crochet something. And this is kind of a cute sweater, although whether I'll go through that or not. But you can see what it looks like. This is in Tarja. Isn't that cute? So anyway, and then this is the cover sweater. You know, you can see how long it's supposed to be. You can see how it hangs when she's standing up, because it fits her. She looks great. But that is Latvian braid. I'm not so sure. I'm just not sure I can do all that. And around the neck too, and around the sleeves. Oh, the sun came out. Anyway, so I got my pom-pom, and there are quite a few really nice sweaters in here with some maybe not quite so perfect pictures to kind of show them off. So that was a little disappointing. Oh, and the shawl is gorgeous too. Of course, I love the color. That's, you know, and that's a lot of it with a shawl. It's like, oh, those colors are great. But I do like the earthern, and it's, you know, I'm gonna wait and see. Other people might knit it, and then I could tell better how it's supposed to fit. This one, I think I can just, if I were gonna make it, that would be fine, and I would just make it a small size. And it's got a pretty wide neckline, and I like my necklines a little not that wide because my bra straps show. This is kind of cute. I wouldn't do the ties, but otherwise it's pretty cute. Anyway, so I got my pom-pom. There's some great patterns in here. Maybe not so great pictures. That was kind of disappointing. To not really be able to see, what is that? What does that sweater really look like? And when you look at the pattern, you know, when you look at the pattern, they give you more pictures, but they still don't show it. I mean, look, that doesn't. I mean, her fingers are completely covered. It's just too big. It's just too big. They have the wrong size. Anyway. But I do like the sweater, and I will look forward to someone else knitting it so I can see how long it is, and you know, that. So that's it. That's my only goodie. You know, Pom Pom Magazine. So the granddaughters are coming back this afternoon, and I'm going to have 5 days of cuddles and stories and running around between the granddaughters and the dogs. I'm not going to get a thing done, and that's okay. I'm going to get cuddling done, and that's all I need. And oh, and Maze is going to puppy kindergarten. She went on Monday, and Isabel and I are taking her again on next Monday. She's having her second lesson. She's pretty good. She's a very smart puppy. She watched Pearl do something one time, and she does it. She just does it. And she's fearless. fearless. When the kids pulled up, the dogs were on the deck, and Pearl leaped off the top step to get to the gate faster, and Maze did exactly the same thing. She's like, oh, we can do that. Boom. It's like, ah. So anyway, life here is really very good, and if the only thing I have to rant about is not the right pictures in a magazine, then, you know, life's pretty good. Life's pretty good. So I will see you in a couple of weeks. I don't know how much knitting I will have done by then. Maybe I'll sit and relax and try to finish up my color work, because then that sweater's going to go like that. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, I hope you have lots and lots of time to do the crafting that brings you joy. And I will talk to you in a couple of weeks.